Mayday! You know what that means. We're live! Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com, as of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known wait for it. Wait for it. To mankind, this is the official Lightning Flash update for Saturday, of course, March 13th, 2021. I need a drink after that. Where's the posse at? Where's the posse at? We got, who's in the chat? We got Adam. Adam's in the chat. We got Peanuts. We got El Pridon. We got David, Maniscalco. And we got, of course, my number one mod, DD. How are all of you today? We only have 6 current viewers. We got 9 likes so far. That's a little weak. I don't know about you guys, but that's a little weak. A little weak because we had some goals here on the Lightning Flash update to reach. But regardless, I'm pretty sure we are going to reach those goals as the stream goes on. We got a lot of material to talk about, a lot of news and rumors on the table. That's right. What's going on, Furious Nation? DD, of course, is here. A lot of material to talk about, including the weekly shows. We're going through all 6 weekly shows today and dissecting various news, rumors, and reports. I got a great show for you guys. Trust me on that. What's going on in the back? There we go. Gotta make sure that the network's working. So, I would like everyone to make sure that you guys keep this chat alive. We are going to talk about a lot of interesting material, as I said. How is everybody? Before we get into the festivities here on the Lightning Flash update, I need y'all to do me a few favors, okay? So, if you guys have not already done so, I need y'all to follow me on the Twitter sticks. Of course, my Twitter is @HistoryMakerDJS. You will find out why I am the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. I need y'all to follow me on Instagram as well @TheDJStorms. For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Add me on Facebook as well. Like the official DJ Storms business page. And I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all the links are in the description. If you guys have not already watched the rewind for AEW Revolution 2021, that link is in the description. That went up on Tuesday. And I already see that Mr. Jay Aletto, who operates the PWP Nation YouTube channel, is in the chat. And he actually just tweeted me out. He shared me out. He's ahead of the game. He is ahead of the game. I was about to say, if you haven't already done so, please like the video. We're almost 5 minutes into the stream. We only got 9 likes. We need to get more than that. The goal here is 30. The goal here is 30. I would like to get to 50 likes, which was what we got 2 weeks ago. That was probably the most liked LFU ever. We got some goals that we want to reach, so the goal for this stream is 30 likes if you can. Jay, thank you very much for sharing me out. I greatly appreciate it. If you guys haven't already done so, be sure to hit the like button. We got goals, as I said. And of course, make sure you share out the stream, because we want to make sure that we get as many people in here as possible. We want everyone to be in the stream when we talking about the top tier news and rumors and dissecting all the weekly shows. So please share out the stream on all platforms of social media, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, or Pinterest. That way we get everyone in here. And I'm talking everyone: your mothers, your fathers, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles, your grandmothers, your grandfathers, your dogs, your cats, and especially your guinea pigs, because I read some articles online from top tier veterinarians that specialize in the life cycle of guinea pigs. And they said specifically, when a guinea pig watches a video or a stream from DJ Storms, they are actually set to live longer. So, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you share out the stream. Make sure we get all these guinea pigs in here, because you want your guinea pig, if you got one, you want him or her to live a long, happy, healthy, fruitful life. And one of the scientific ways to prove that they will live a long, happy, healthy, fruitful life is, of course, showing them yours truly. If you guys haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button. I'm up, I'm down, I'm up, I'm down. I don't know what the fuck YouTube's doing, but regardless, we are going to gain as many subscribers as possible. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button when you come on in the chat. If you haven't already done so, Dee, my number one mod, thank you for sharing out the stream. I just saw, and I liked and retweeted that. The goal's 30 likes. What's poppin', Cool King? How you doing, man? We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Please make sure you hit that like button. Of course, hit the subscribe button and hit the notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is the best time to be on YouTube. It's the only time you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. Just give me 1 sec. Just give me one little solitary second. Everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. David Maniscalco, I heard that you just shared. Let me double check. Did you share? Did you share? You did. You did. Good man, good man, good man, good man. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Be sure, we got to get everyone in here. We got 10 people in the chat, only 9 likes. You see, that's a problem. That's a problem. If you haven't already hit the like button, hit the damn like button, people. Anyway, we are going to get started. We're going to get started. We're going to dive straight into the news, rumors, and reports. I will check the chat after we are done with the news, rumors, and reports, so just hang tight, talk amongst yourselves. We are going to get into some interesting reports. Of course, we are going to start off with a report from Mr. Dave Meltzer, and it was reported 2 weeks ago by the Wrestling Observer newsletter that WWE was indeed cracking down on wrestlers using the thigh slap when throwing kicks. Dave Meltzer added on the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio that in and around gorilla position for events, there is now a sign that reads, and I quote, "Do not slap leg when kicking." Meltzer stated, "What I was told was that some point on a SmackDown show, someone did a leg slapping deal, and Vince got mad because it was so obvious." End quote. Brian Alvarez actually tweeted out a photo of a sign that said, "Do not slap leg when kicking," with the caption of, "This is real," something along the lines of that. But it was a few days ago, and he did tweet out the picture of the sign in gorilla position. And he said that it was not manufactured, it was not fake, it was indeed legit. I have so many complaints, and I have so many questions that I would love to ask about this shit. I really do. Here's what I don't understand. You are building towards what is supposed to be the biggest wrestling show of the year with WrestleMania. You are less than a month away from WrestleMania. There are individuals who are mentally and emotionally frustrated with the positions that they are being placed in. Some of them are your top tier stars. Backstage morale is at the lowest that it's ever been. The ratings are the lowest that they've ever been. The buzz, the hype, the interest in your product is the lowest it's ever been. And you are worried, you are legitimately worried about individuals slapping their thigh during kicks and big moves. You are legitimately worried about them slapping their thighs throughout matches and it being too obvious. So, essentially, you are pissed off that people are finding out that the business is fake. Not even fake, because I hate using that word. You're worried about individuals figuring out that everything is predetermined and everything is scripted with the company. This isn't the 1980s anymore. Seriously, this isn't the 1980s anymore. People aren't stupid. Fans aren't stupid. We know it's predetermined. We don't care if it's predetermined. We don't care if we visibly see someone slapping their thigh. All we care about is whether or not we get good storylines, great wrestling, great angles, and great shows. The priorities and the mentality of the individuals that are behind these shows, it is fucking ridiculous. It is downright laughable. Seriously, it is downright laughable. You are worried about individuals on television seeing someone slap their thigh. That's your priority. That's your number one priority. Your priority is not making WrestleMania the best event it could possibly be. Oh, hey, we're WWE. Oh, hey, it's WrestleMania. They're gonna watch anyway. Oh, we don't care. WWE's mentality, and again, I am even going to revert back to what I said not that long ago. This even reverts back to the Peacock deal. Because WWE, they're focusing on everything that they shouldn't be focusing on because their only desire and their only main priority is, oh, we gotta make money at any expense. And now that they're sitting on a nice hefty cushion of cash from the Peacock deal, now Vince McMahon has the ability to nitpick every little fucking thing. No sneezing, no coughing, no choking, no spitting, whatever it may be. You can't say this, you can't say that, you can't question him, you can't slap your thigh. Guy's like a fucking dictator. Your issue is with people slapping their thighs and not with the product that you're putting out on television for 3 hours on Monday and 2 hours on Friday? If this does not, and oh my God, do not even get me started. Do not even get me started. That's just the tip of the fucking iceberg. This just adds. This shit just adds. It's like with every passing fucking week, there is some new story that just adds onto the laundry list of reasons why Vince McMahon needs to fucking get out of office. That's what you're worried about. You're worried about people slapping their thighs over the shows that you're putting out on weekly television. You're worried about that rather than backstage morale. You're worried about that rather than the interest in your product, which is at the lowest that it's ever been. Ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, I'm pretty sure everybody saw the ending of Revolution. Revolution, solid show. A solid show, as you will hear in my Revolution Rewind. Again, link is in the description. Solid show, but that ending, I don't know what the fuck that ending was. That ending was absolutely fucking horrendous. And per Brian Alvarez, Kenny Omega was quote-unquote furious at the way Revolution went off the air. And you know what? He has every right to be. He does have every right to be. I did hear, supposedly, that they tested everything before the show. They tested everything before the show, and apparently everything was working fine. And then, for some reason, when they tested it for real on the air, I'm not sure what happened. Everything just blew up in smoke. So, I'm not sure what happened there. Apparently, I also heard that the individuals that set the explosives off, they just brushed it off and said, oh, it happens. And supposedly, Omega and Tony Khan were furious at that. And you could visibly see it on their face. Now, they have every right to be, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact, why didn't they just come out and say that it was a botch? Why didn't they just come out and say that they fucked up? It would have made AEW look a lot better in the end. I don't really understand. I'm going to say the same thing I said in my Revolution Rewind. I don't understand the mentality of people nowadays, and it's not just with pro wrestling. It's with anything nowadays. I don't fucking understand why individuals are so hesitant to admit when they're wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot of wrongs in that sentence. But I can admit when I'm wrong. But I don't understand why the majority of people are so hesitant to do that. I don't understand why they take that as a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. So, I'm not going to get too worked up over it. It was a week ago. It's done. It's over with. I'm moving on. We had a very nice bounce-back show for AEW on Wednesday, which we will talk about when we get to the weekly show reviews. But, I don't know. I understand Kenny Omega's frustration. He has every right to be, but the fact of the matter is that they should have, absolutely, they just should have came out and said that they fucked up. Revolution was still a solid show. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't a bad show whatsoever. I mean, give me a fucking break. I know what a bad show is. I mean, I've watched fucking I was live in attendance at Battleground 2017. I know what a bad show is. Trust me on that. So, we're moving on. We are moving on. Moving on to another report. Steve Carrier of Ringside News tweeted out another update on the Thunderdome. Now, he tweeted out Wednesday, and I quote, "We've got another exclusive for this morning. We were told that unless things change, WWE's next Thunderdome location will be Yuenling Center. It's still up in the air whether they will figure out a way to bring in live fans, but that is the company's next planned destination." Now, I'm going to keep an eye out as to when the next update on the Thunderdome will come out. I'm not sure when WWE is going to have fans, but let me tell you something. If I am to be quite honest with you, and this is not, I'm telling you right now, this is not a report that came out. This is not any type of report that came out. This is not some type of exclusive. This is just my personal take and my personal opinion on this matter. A lot of people have been wondering, including myself, why haven't they let fans back into the arenas yet? And originally, I had the impression that WWE was waiting until they could have a jam-packed arena. They don't want to do a limited capacity. That was my initial thought. My initial thought was WWE wants to wait until everything has been lifted, there are no restrictions, no bans, and they can operate at 100% a jam-packed arena. That was my initial thought. Then I started thinking a little bit. And this is just my personal theory. Do not take this as gospel. This is just my personal theory. The vibe that I'm getting, because AEW has been operating with limited capacity in Daly's Place in Jacksonville, in the same state that WWE is operating with the Thunderdome. So why hasn't WWE taken advantage of the rules that AEW has taken advantage of? I'm not sure if they just want to be different or not, but I have conjured up this theory, and I don't think many people realize this, but Vince McMahon is living out a fantasy with the Thunderdome. He is living out his wildest dreams with the Thunderdome. Vince McMahon, for God knows how many years now, has been operating with this micromanage mentality in which he needs to control everything, even the things that he can't control. So, Vince McMahon, for God knows how long now, he wants to push this guy, and he wants this guy to get cheered, and he wants that guy to get booed. He wants to push this storyline, and he wants this guy to be the heel, even though he's better suited as a babyface, or he wants this guy to be the babyface, even though he's better suited as a heel. He wants to push that guy to the top without any fan backlash. He wants to leave this guy in catering without any fan backlash. He wants to put this program out. He wants to do this main event on this specific pay-per-view, and he doesn't want to be questioned on anything. Nobody can question Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is God. He can do no wrong. That's how Vince McMahon operates. He wants to do everything that he wants. He wants this guy to be cheered. He wants the audience to boo that guy. And he wants the audience to feel sympathetic for this individual. And he does not want to be questioned at all. Vince McMahon couldn't do that before the Thunderdome. But then we had COVID come around. COVID came around, and WWE operated out of the Performance Center for 5 months. Then came the Thunderdome. And now Vince McMahon is living out his fantasy right before our very eyes, and he can do everything that he wasn't able to do before the Thunderdome. If he wants someone to get cheered, he doesn't have to work hard. He doesn't need to book him like a sympathetic babyface. All he needs to do is push a button. If he wants this guy to get booed, he doesn't need to book him like a dastardly heel. He doesn't need to put him against the top-tier babyface. All he needs to do is push a button. And on top of that, you got these idiots in the Thunderdome who sign up to register for free, and if you don't do what Kevin Dunn tells you to do, because you got Kevin Dunn in everyone's ear in the Thunderdome telling you who to cheer, who to boo, what hand gestures to do. If you don't do what they want you to do, they'll kick you. I was in the Thunderdome all the way back in September. Get this, I registered for the Thunderdome, and I've only used the Thunderdome once. Back in September. I have not used it since then. I signed up for it, and it took me 25 minutes to get in. When I got in, I heard Kevin Dunn telling me what to do. I didn't do what they wanted me to do. Kevin Dunn was like, okay, give me your best Lucha impersonation for the Lucha House Party. I didn't do anything. And they kicked me within 25 minutes. Why? Because I wasn't doing what they told me to do. It's a fucking dictatorship backstage. So, I got kicked. And anyone else who doesn't do what they tell you to do in the Thunderdome, they'll kick you. So they want these weak-minded, deluded sheep to control. Vince McMahon can do everything that he couldn't do before the Thunderdome. Vince McMahon is essentially God. So if anyone is going to ask me why WWE has not gone back to live fans, even if it's just in a limited capacity, why would they? Why would they? Why would Vince do that when he can pretty much do everything that he couldn't do before they created the Thunderdome? He can control who gets booed. He can control who gets cheered. He can control who he pushes. He can control which angle gets over. And there's going to be no live fan backlash because there's no live fans. You honestly think Vince McMahon cares about what the individuals are saying on social media? No. No one backstage cares about what the individuals are saying on social media. Vince McMahon doesn't even operate his own social media handles. He doesn't look on social media. He doesn't give a shit. Vince McMahon now has the ability to play God. Honest to God, please answer me this question. Do you honestly believe that The Miz and John Morrison would be getting legitimate heel heat if there were live fans? No, they'd be getting go-away heat because they're fucking annoying. They'd be getting go-away heat because they are two of the worst acts on WWE television right now. No one would give a shit about John Morrison and The Miz. They wouldn't be getting legit boos. They'd be getting go-away heel heat. Do you honestly think that people would be booing Retribution? No, they're a dead act. People would be on their hands silent every single time Retribution came out because they have been booked like complete jokes. Do you honestly think that Roman Reigns would be getting booed with the character that he's playing now? No, this is the character that everyone has been wanting Roman to play for half a decade. Roman would be getting cheered if they were going to the cool cities, if they were going to Chicago and New York and Dallas and Miami and Sacramento, California. They were going all of those places. Roman Reigns would be cheered because he's cool. He's a badass. This is what the crowd has wanted from Roman Reigns for God knows how long now. Do you honestly think that Roman Reigns would be booed if there were live human beings? No. The only reason why WWE is doing a limited capacity for WrestleMania is because the Super Bowl did a limited capacity. That's the only reason why. Because if you are going back to live human beings for WrestleMania, then there's no reason to continue the Thunderdome after WrestleMania. You could easily operate Raw and SmackDown in whatever arena with 500, 600, 700, 800 fans at most. You could easily do that. Socially distanced with masks, temperature checks, all that bullshit. You could easily do that. Why haven't we heard any signs of WWE doing that? Why is it just WrestleMania? Just because the Super Bowl did it, so you need to follow in the footsteps of the Super Bowl? I don't get it. I honest to God don't get it. If you're doing it for WrestleMania, what is stopping you from doing it for Raw and SmackDown going forward into the spring and summer of 2021? Oh yeah, that's right, because once you go back to live fans, then you realize that you can't control everyone because a lot more people are a lot more smarter than they were in the 1980s, right? Because then you have to operate within their regulations. You can't operate how you want to operate, right? Now people are going to be questioning where Aleister Black is and where Keith Lee is. They're going to be chanting, "This is boring." They're going to be booing people that are supposed to be cheered, or cheering people that are supposed to be booed, right? Vince McMahon is not going to go back to live human beings on a regular basis unless he has to. Unless the rules are completely restricted, Vince is not going to go back to regular settings. I'm sorry. He's not. That's just my personal take on it. Do with it what you will. Habicki's in the chat. TM161 is in the chat. And I'm glad that Habicki and TM161 are in the chat because I do have some announcements to make on Mr. Habicki and Mr. TM161, so stick around. And if you haven't already done so, be sure to hit that like button. We're almost at 20 likes. We are almost at 20 likes. Hit the like button, people. So, that's my take on the Thunderdome getting a new location and why WWE hasn't gone back to live human beings. Next. We got a report from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, a.k.a. the guy who I live rent-free inside his head, Sean Ross Sapp. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, he reported that Shane McMahon did not forget his lines on Monday Night Raw in that segment with Braun Strowman, and the segment did go as planned. Sapp stated that the plan for the segment was to make Shane less likable in his feud with Braun Strowman. Shane struggling to get his words out was part of that dynamic. Dave Meltzer followed up by reporting something similar in which he stated, and I quote, "They're trying to find a way for Shane to be the heel, so the idea is he's going to be this dick making fun of the dumb guy, Braun Strowman," end quote. Who the fuck cares? Seriously, like, who the fuck? I honest to God do not know who legitimately fucking cares about this storyline at all. I don't understand how anyone can look at a Shane McMahon, Braun Strowman match and think, yeah, that's WrestleMania. Braun Strowman is perhaps the most useless individual on the roster. I mean, I shit on The Miz all the time. But at least The Miz can cut a promo. And at least The Miz can put on a decent match when he's paired with the right talent. Even though his booking has been horrible. I shit on people like Jinder Mahal all the time, but at least Jinder Mahal's been off of television. You take a look at what Braun Strowman has done. What redeeming qualities does Braun Strowman have? The guy actually was good at one point. He actually was a decent wrestler, and out of nowhere, I'm not sure what happened. It's like he regressed. It's like he just fucking gave up. He legitimately just fucking gave up, and he hasn't had a decent match since his match with Rollins at Clash of Champions, and that's only because Rollins fucking carried him to a decent match. Braun Strowman's been a dead act since the end of 2018. They had an opportunity to capitalize on Braun Strowman when he was at his peak, and they didn't do it. And that's all on Braun Strowman. Well, some of it's on him. Some of it's on him, some of it's on management. Braun Strowman, he made himself look like a fucking idiot. He regressed in the ring, number one, and he shit on independent wrestling. And then on top of that, then you got the fact that WWE didn't capitalize when the iron was hot. He should have been the one to beat Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. I don't give a shit, and I don't think anyone is going to care who the babyface is, who the heel is. I don't understand how this is a WrestleMania match in general. I really don't. It makes absolutely no fucking sense to me at all. Matter of fact, take a look at the WrestleMania card right now. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I want to get to the rest of the reports because there's a couple more reports that I want to talk about. Well, actually, this actually ties into the next report. What I'm about to rant about actually ties into the next report. WrestleVotes tweeted out on Thursday that the WrestleMania 37 card is still not finalized. We're less than a month away and the card is still not finalized. They tweeted out, and I quote, "Hearing the WrestleMania card is not close to finalized, and most of it is back to square one. Even for recent Vince standards, 29 days out is bad." End quote. End quote. I want you guys to take a look at the WrestleMania card right now. Take a look at the matches that they got lined up. How many rematches are we looking at for WrestleMania? Asuka and Charlotte, rematch. We got, more likely than not, Street Profits versus Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, rematch. We got fucking Riddle and Styles, more likely than not, is going to be the U.S. title match for WrestleMania. And don't get me wrong, that's not a bad match, but we've seen those individuals fight 3 times over the course of the last year, and none of the matches that they have had have lived up to the potential of a Matt Riddle, AJ Styles match. So that's 3 rematches right there. Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley, rematch. Then you got a match that shouldn't even be happening. We got Strowman and Shane McMahon, and then you got Bad Bunny. You got fucking Bad Bunny and Damian Priest taking on The Miz and John Morrison. 2 matches right there that shouldn't even be fucking happening. Then you fucking got, who else you got? You got probably the New Day and the Hurt Business. More likely than not, at some point, you're probably going to get the New Day and the Hurt Business on WrestleMania. Why? Because they're the only 2 teams in the division. Are you going to push the Lucha House Party again? No. WWE's done with that. And they're breaking up Retribution by the looks of it. So more likely than not, we're going to get another match between the Hurt Business and the New Day. That's 5 rematches right there. 2 matches that shouldn't even be happening. 5 rematches That's one night of WrestleMania that I just named right there. That's one night of WrestleMania that I just named right there. Fiend versus Orton, another one. A sixth rematch. Fiend versus Orton, rematch. 6 rematches. 2 matches that shouldn't even be happening. I don't know what they're doing with the Intercontinental title. The only match that I can honestly tell you that I give 1 iota of a shit about, maybe 2. There's only 2 matches that I can honestly tell you that I am just slightly interested in. Number 1 is Sasha and Bianca. And the reason why is because of who those 2 women are. Who those 2 women are and the match that they can give us. The build has not done either woman any favors. The build has been a bad combination of the Styles Nakamura build from WrestleMania 34 season, and then the Styles Ambrose storyline with James Ellsworth. Only you substitute James Ellsworth with fucking Reginald. The only reason I am slightly interested in Sasha and Bianca is because it's a fresh matchup, and those 2 could potentially give us a match of the year candidate if WWE allows them to. That's 1. Number 2 is the Universal title match, which more likely than not is going to be Roman, Bryan, and Edge. Now, originally, I was questioning how are you going to do a triple threat match unless Bryan wins at Fastlane or Edge causes a disqualification. And why would Bryan win when Roman shouldn't be losing? Because Bryan's already a made man. He doesn't need the Universal title. And on top of that, Edge, if he gets involved and causes a DQ, making the WrestleMania match a triple threat match, Edge would look like a fucking idiot. But now that Edge is the enforcer, more likely than not, he's going to beat Jey Uso next week, and he's going to be the enforcer. That is a rather intriguing route, and that opens up various doors. Various routes that they can go to make it a triple threat. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens. But outside of those two matches, I really don't give a shit about anything. Those are 10 matches that I just named, and I'm only slightly intrigued in 2. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with the IC title. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with the women's tag team titles. Quite frankly, I don't give a shit. I got another report, and based on the thumbnail and based on the title, it's a complete 180 from last week. Ringside News addressed that the NHL and ESPN have reached a deal. According to the New York Post, they have signed a 7-year deal. It is expected to be announced as soon as this week. Now, nothing has really been confirmed as far as WWE goes, but yes, it was made public that ESPN and NHL have reached a deal. They have signed a 7-year deal. And this has currently created some speculation that NXT's move to Tuesday nights might not happen, although no official report of NXT moving to Tuesdays was sent out by WWE themselves. So at this rate, it's kind of a waiting game, because I remember that Mattman's podcast, they tweeted out that they heard from a reliable source that NXT will be moving to Tuesdays after WrestleMania. Now, I have not heard anything from that. We were informed that there's going to be a 2-night takeover, which I don't understand why. I don't understand why we need a 2-night takeover. Matter of fact, I would have just waited until May to do another takeover. I would have waited till after WrestleMania to do another takeover. It would have been a hell of a lot better. I would have campaigned for Finn Balor to defend the NXT Championship on WrestleMania's card, which I don't understand why. I would have absolutely done a Fatal 4-Way. I would have done Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Karrion Kross, and Finn Balor for the NXT title, and I would have given Kyle O'Reilly the NXT title. Now, we could still be headed down that route of Kyle O'Reilly potentially winning the NXT title. We could be headed down that route, and I will talk about that when we get to NXT. But I don't really understand why NXT is doing that two-night takeover. I don't understand why you wouldn't move to Tuesdays. Oh, wait a minute, that's right. It's because you want to make sure that AEW's audience doesn't grow. So you continue to bury NXT further and further into the ground just so AEW can't grow and expand their platform. Good job! Cool King, I see ya. I see you with the Andrade comment, and we're going to talk about that because Wrestling Inc., Fightful, and various other sources reported yesterday that Andrade requested his release from WWE on Monday during the Raw tapings, and before SmackDown, it was confirmed that Dave Meltzer reported that his release request was denied. His release request was denied. I mean, again, I will state, how many fucking times do we have to go through this? Seriously, how many fucking times do we need to go through this? How many fucking scenarios do we need to go through before people fucking realize that Vince McMahon is an absolute fucking detriment? I really don't understand. It's like the more this shit comes out, you got fucking people saying, oh, well, he was never really a big deal to begin with. That's how brainwashed these people are. Going along with what Vince McMahon says because Vince McMahon has brainwashed these individuals to think and operate how he thinks and operates. I honest to God don't understand. WWE had an absolute fucking gold mine on their hands with Andrade. WWE has, they still have an absolute fucking gold mine because his release was reportedly denied, right? They have a gold mine on their hands in the Latino market. WWE is like, oh my God, we got to use Bad Bunny with Damian Priest to get a big chunk of money out of the Latino market. You had that, and you still do. You have that in Andrade. You have that in Andrade, and you're legitimately letting it slip through your fingers. Why? Because you don't see anything in him? If you don't see anything in him, then why the fuck are you still keeping him under contract? Why aren't you giving him his release? Oh, wait a minute. That's because if he goes elsewhere, if he goes to Impact, or if he goes to New Japan, or if he goes to AEW, or wherever he goes, if he goes to NWA, if he goes anywhere other than WWE, he's going to prove you wrong, he's going to say shove it up your ass, and he's going to make himself into the biggest independent star in recent memory before the next guy leaves WWE and makes himself into the biggest independent wrestling star. Because you don't want him to go anywhere else. Because you don't want to acknowledge the fact that you are not the only wrestling promotion on the face of the planet. WWE wants to hoard talent, and they want to make sure that no wrestling company on the planet, whether it's a company as big as AEW or whether it's a company as irrelevant as Game Changer Wrestling, they don't want anyone in the wrestling industry to succeed. Vince McMahon wants to own everyone. He wants to own all of these promotions, and he wants to have all the money from all these promotions flow directly into his pockets. This fucking monopolization mentality needs to fucking die. It is absolutely killing the business. The Young Bucks book may be titled Killing the Business, but Vince McMahon is the one that's really killing the business. How many fucking individuals do we have to sit and watch go through this? The list goes on and on and on and on and on. Andrade, who literally poured his fucking soul out for this business to give you what many people have called the greatest NXT Championship match of all time with Johnny Gargano just 3 years ago. Many people prefer that match over the Adam Cole-Johnny Gargano match from TakeOver New York. He poured his fucking soul out for you to prove to you that he can be a major player and a major star. He gave you some of the best matches of the modern era with Drew McIntyre and Aleister Black. Of course, the match with Gargano. And everyone going into that match was talking about Johnny Gargano. Everyone coming out of that match was fucking talking about Andrade Cien Almas. I don't fucking understand. And his release request was denied. Does that shock me? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So now he's going to have to wait and waste away in fucking catering because, I don't see anything in the sky. Really? So, everyone, literally everyone, management, writers, wrestlers, and fans see something in this guy, but just because one man doesn't see anything in this guy, that means that he doesn't deserve an opportunity. You realize how fucked up that is? You realize how fucked up that is? Everyone sees something in Andrade. Everyone. Except Vince. So, what? You're just supposed to not utilize him just because you don't see anything in him? And you're wondering why the interest in your product is at the lowest that it's ever been. Because you're not giving new stars opportunities. You don't see anything in anyone. You don't see anything in Keith Lee. You don't see anything in Aleister Black. You don't see anything in Chad Gable. You don't see anything in Cesaro. You don't see anything in Andrade. What the fuck are you waiting for? Are you just waiting for the next Shawn Michaels to fall into your lap? Are you just waiting for the next Triple H to come knocking on your front door? Are you waiting for the next John Cena to just randomly appear right in front of you? What the fuck are you waiting for? You don't see anything in any of these individuals. How the fuck are you supposed to create a new generation of talent that is going to carry this industry for the next 25 years if you don't give them opportunities and listen to the fucking audience? It is absolutely asinine. I'm pretty sure that's not the only time I'm going to be ranting. Those are your news, rumors, and reports. We have 15 people watching. We got 18 likes. And already I'm blowing my fucking voice out. Already I'm blowing my voice out. We got Big Fight Feel. Joseph Conlon, my man, be sure to hit that like button. We are at 18 likes. We are almost an hour into the stream. We got Big Fight Feel. I know Dee Dee loves my rants. Always makes her smile. You're welcome. Yeah, if I did not get so much positive feedback from you guys, I would not be doing this. TM, obviously, he knows the drill. AJ Styles versus Andrade, very good too. Cool King, you're right. Oh, by the way, Cool King, I'm glad you're doing a lot better. I'm glad that you're feeling a lot better. Habicki says Roman shouldn't be losing, period, even at Mania. True. So, guys, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you hit the like button. We are about to get into everybody's favorite show to review, said nobody ever, Raw. We're about to talk about Raw. Oh, I don't really understand why anyone would enjoy talking about Raw. I got my Twitter. My Twitter is doing well, too. We got a couple people liking and retweeting the... Yep, they're liking and retweeting. We got some good stuff. Where's, you know what? If Habicki's still in here. Where's Melissa at? I know your friend Melissa. You know, she's the individual that tweets all the positive stuff. Where's she? I know that me and her, we've had a few conversations. She's a good chick. Try and see if you can get her in here. And see if you can get her in here. She don't want to miss my Raw rant. Trust me on that. So if you can get her in here, bro, try and get her in here. Got 14 people watching. We got 18 likes. 14 people. We got 18 likes. Please, please, please make sure you hit the like button when you come in. Oh, Danielle accidentally hid Rob Wells Jr. We're sorry about that. We're sorry about that, man. Danielle, she knows. Don't worry. Danielle loves you, Rob. Don't worry. Danielle loves you. Danielle loves everyone. She's a nice chick. Anyway, Monday Night Raw. How many pages did I take on this shit? I took fucking 4 pages of notes on this shit. Took 4 pages of notes on Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw started out with Danielle's favorite superstar, The Miz, and John Morrison. So they came out. Miz goes, I stand in this ring empty-handed because Bobby Lashley is the new WWE champion. After everything I've done for WWE, I had stomach cramps and no one believed me. I defended my WWE championship. I got counted out. I lost. Is it shady? Yes. But I outsmarted everyone. No, you didn't, Miz. You look like a fucking pussy. You look like a fucking pussy. Bobby had his chance and blew it. Contract never stated I needed to defend my title twice in one night, but I was forced to. Shane made the match a lumberjack match. But tonight, I get my rematch. Everyone that's tweeting and celebrating Lashley's win, stay real close to your devices. There'll be a hashtag and new because I'm The Miz and I'm awesome. No, you're not awesome anymore. You were once awesome. You were in 2016, you were awesome. In 2018, when you were feuding with Daniel Bryan, you were awesome. Now you suck. You absolutely fucking suck. Matter of fact, I'm still wondering why you are still in a prominent role on television. Because you are undoubtedly one of the worst WWE superstars in this era. You are undoubtedly one of the worst acts on television. So no, you are not awesome, Miz. You are not awesome whatsoever, and I hope that he sees this. So this is The Miz versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. Now, I thought that he was going to defend the title against The Miz at Fastlane, but apparently they just decided to give this match away for Monday Night Raw. So Lashley got a new video package in Pyro, which looked great. Miz was absolutely dismantled by Bobby. Miz got minimal offense on Bobby Lashley, rightfully so. Lashley was no-selling The Miz's offense, rightfully so. Lashley with a pop-up spinebuster and the Hurt Lock. The Miz taps out, and Lashley retains the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre was interviewed, and he was talking to Bobby Lashley. He says, where's your passion, where's your heart, and where's your balls? Because Lashley defeated The Miz for the WWE Championship. Sheamus then attacked Drew, and he said, I swear to God, I'll make every day of your life a misery. So coming back from commercial, Drew McIntyre went straight up to Adam Pearce, and he demanded for a no disqualifications match against Sheamus. And that match was made for later on in the night. R-Truth went up to Braun Strowman. R-Truth went up to Braun Strowman, and he asked for help against Bugs Bunny, a.k.a. Bad Bunny. He called him the Monstar among men. Strowman says that he's going to go out to the ring and demand an apology from Shane. Truth said, my bad. In that case, I was never here. I'm a fragment of your imagination. So he got one of these pens, these like mind erasers, and he tried to click it to try and erase Strowman's mind. It obviously didn't work. It obviously didn't work because R-Truth's a fucking idiot. This was fucking cringe. This was absolute fucking cringe. R-Truth, I don't know how anyone still finds this funny. It's literally the same exact bullshit. It's literally the same bullshit over and over again with R-Truth. And then it's the same bullshit over and over again with Braun Strowman. I legitimately don't even give a shit. I don't give a shit. Like, how can anyone find this funny? If you find this funny, you have extremely low standards, and I really don't have any respect for you. I mean, I don't respect anybody, but that's a different story for a different day. So Braun Strowman came out to the ring, and he took the mic. He goes, "First you exclude me from the Elimination Chamber, but now I'm over it. Really, you're over it. So why are you even out there? Then you give me a Raw Tag Team title match with Pierce, and then make me tag him in so he could get beat. It makes me think you're laughing at me. Everyone is laughing at you, Braun Strowman, because you are an absolute fucking joke." He says, "I could snap your neck like a twig, but I'm not looking to get fired. I'm looking for some respect. But I'm not asking, I'm demanding that you come out and give me a damn apology." So Shane came out, he walked up to Strowman, looked him square in the face, and he just said, "I apologize," and he walked away. Shane McMahon turned around, looked at Strowman. He looked like he was going to say something, but he didn't. Strowman was like, "What are you going to say? You got something to say? Then say it." So that was to come into play later on in the night, which we'll talk about in a minute. So Drew McIntyre took on Sheamus in a no DQ match, and this was perhaps the best thing on the show. Again, I don't understand why we needed to get another Drew McIntyre-Sheamus match. If we were going to ultimately get a match between Drew and Sheamus at Fastlane, I don't understand why you didn't just book the match for Fastlane initially. Why do we need to see the same fucking matches 3 times within a month? Seriously, the more that you see the same match over and over again, the less special it's going to be. So this was a very good no DQ match that ended in a double countout because both men knocked each other out with the steel steps. A very good match, don't get me wrong, but ultimately, I don't understand why we needed to get this again. If you were going to book another match between Drew, if you had to book another match between Drew and Sheamus, if we have Drew and Sheamus last week, Drew won, Sheamus attacked Drew this week, if you wanted to, why didn't you just book the initial match for Fastlane? Because more likely than not, it's going to be a last man standing match. That's what the reports are saying. It's going to be a last man standing match. Why didn't you just book the last man standing match to begin with? I don't understand. So, both men took the steel steps, they collided with each other, and they fell to the floor. Drew fell over the barricade. That was pretty much that. Orton and Styles had a back and forth in the back. We got a match later on. Oh, great. How many times have we seen Orton and Styles? Xavier Woods took on Shelton Benjamin. Woods rolled up Benjamin for the win. Wouldn't be WWE if a champion didn't lose in a non-title match. Apparently next week we got the New Day versus the Hurt Business for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Now, if Woods beat Benjamin here, then I have a little hope, just a little hope, that the Hurt Business is going to retain. I have just a little hope that the Hurt Business is going to retain. And I don't understand why the Hurt Business would even lose, considering Bobby Lashley just became WWE Champion. So I would keep all the titles on the Hurt Business for now. Riddle versus Ali for the U.S. title is also set for next week, which I don't understand why it's not on Fastlane, but hell, if you're going to break up Retribution, it may as well be on Monday Night Raw rather than a pay-per-view. I'd much rather have Retribution on Raw than a pay-per-view because I could easily try and sleep off Monday Night Raw, and with a pay-per-view coming up, with a pay-per-view, I expect pay-per-views to feel like pay-per-views. Retribution does not scream pay-per-view. Retribution doesn't even scream main event. They scream stay off television forever. So we got Riddle versus Applejack, Kangaroo Jack, Jack Black, Jack Off, Slap Dick, Slap Nuts, Slap Balls, Slapjack. Riddle wins with the Bro Derek. Ali reprimanding Slapnuts, Jack Off, Jack Black, Applejack, Jack Balls, whatever the hell you want to call him. Ali was reprimanding Jack Balls afterwards. He says, how much longer? How much longer? Fucking hell. I couldn't hold it in. He was reprimanding him afterwards, saying, how much longer are you going to keep on doing this to me? How much longer are you going to keep disappointing me? How much longer are you going to keep embarrassing me? I hope to God, I pray to whatever wrestling god exists next week that Retribution costs Ali and they fucking break up. Just break them up already. Please, just break them up. So, we got Shane Meek Mahan as Broken Matt Hardy. Yeah, I know, Dee Dee. You were waiting for me to say something about Slapjack. We're calling him Jack Balls from here on out. So Shane McMahon came out. He invited Braun Strowman out to the ring. Strowman came out. Shane then got a new microphone because he said the old one wasn't working. He said like 2. He was like doing tests. Is this working? So Shane walked up the ramp as Strowman was still in the ring and he said, I had fun last week. That's what I do. You should too. Shane says sometimes he has fun at others' expense. One thing we have to get done, and then he stops. And then he starts up another sentence by saying, I don't know if I can talk to you about this. So Strowman is saying, if you got something to say, just say it. So Shane's delaying his sentences, and then he finally says something. He says, I need to come to an understanding with you. One thing I would never do is make you look stupid. You're upset about me. The stupid word is abhorrent. You want to know what's fucking abhorrent? Whoever's writing these promos on Monday Night Raw, that's abhorrent. That individual is abhorrent. Bruce Pritchard is abhorrent. The fucking gut that Bruce Pritchard has is abhorrent. The fucking red face that Bruce Pritchard has is abhorrent. I'll tell you what abhorrent is. He says, I'm cracking myself up today. He said, you know, you've been the victim of some type of stereotypes like stupid is as stupid does, or you fell off the stupid tree and hit every branch on the way down, or this guy is just so stupid. This stereotype like the dinosaurs, big man, little brain. I would never call you stupid. And then he goes, Braun. And then he runs away. Braun Strowman follows him. Shane McMahon looks like he's going to get into a car and drive off, or so we thought. Braun Strowman sees sees the car that Shane supposedly drove away in. Braun Strowman then walked away, and then Shane McMahon came up from behind Braun. He looked at Braun walking away, and he says under his breath, so stupid. I don't know what the fuck this was. I don't know what the fuck. I'm legit. I have no words. I legitimately have no words. I'm legitimately running out of fucking words. I have no words to describe what we saw here. I have absolutely none. What the fuck was this? I don't know what the fuck they were going for. I'm not sure what the fuck they're trying to accomplish, but the sad part about it is that there is actually people out there that are going to support this mind-numbing stupidity. I have absolutely no words for what we just saw. What the fuck was that? Shane McMahon and Braun Strowman. That's your idea of WrestleMania? That's not even good enough to be on a fucking main event. You had Naomi and Lana versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. This is for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Which I still don't understand why they didn't just give Raquel and Kai the Women's Tag Team titles. Oh, wait a minute, that's right, because Vince McMahon doesn't want an NXT team to beat a Raw Tag Team. Vince McMahon doesn't want an NXT team to defeat Nia Jax. Fuck. So, Reginald came walking out with Nia. Oh, great. Reginald, and Nia Jax. Who fucking asked for another James Ellsworth Carmella dynamic? Great. He says, I brought him out here to be ringside for the championship match. Isn't he cute? Baszler and Jax, they won. Nia won with the powerbomb chokeslam for the win. Nia and Baszler retain the women's tag team titles. What do they do at WrestleMania? I got no fucking idea. I have absolutely no fucking idea. Charlotte was in a backstage confrontation with Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. And Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, they were saying that they deserved to be in the women's championship title hunt. Apparently, I heard that Asuka's out with a concussion and she could potentially miss WrestleMania. Now that sucks for her. I feel bad for Asuka. So, Charlotte was in this backstage segment, and she says to Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke that I hope your bite is just as big as your bark. And she walked away. Charlotte was on television for about 30 seconds, and that is enough for me to say, fuck Charlotte Flair. Fuck Charlotte Flair and all of her supporters. Fuck them all. And I already see that Peanuts and Cool King, they just put out a FCF. If I can get everyone in the chat, there's 11 people in this fucking chat. Can I get everyone to say FCF? Type FCF in the chat. I want to see how many people will type FCF. Fuck Charlotte Flair is the motto here. AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. Wow, we haven't seen that one. Man, I think that everyone loves AJ Styles and Randy Orton. So much so that everyone was saying that this match was boring as fuck. Same shit that we've seen, the draping DDT, Styles locking in the calf crusher. Alexa Bliss then came up on the screen. She goes, oh, Randy. She's cranking up the Jack in the Box. She whispers, not yet. She lit a match, blew it out, and then we got the fucking ring, the fucking posts, the ring posts, like she's fucking Kane. We start calling Alexa Bliss Kane Bliss. So fucking Kane Bliss blows out the match. We got Kane pyro going out of the fucking posts. Orton then started throwing up black goo. Like fucking Billy Madison. Goo! Throwing up black goo. AJ Styles with the phenomenal forearm as Randy Orton continued to puke up the black goo. Bliss then came up on the screen after Styles pinned Orton. Styles gets the win. Bliss came up on the screen laughing at Orton. Orton tried to recover. She continued to laugh like a child. And that's how Monday Night Raw went off the air. Holy shit. Holy shit. I can't do it anymore, man. I can't do this anymore. I cannot deal with Monday Night Raw anymore. I really don't know how I do it. I'm running out of words. I'm just saying, I'm just reiterating and repeating the same fucking thing over and over again. I'm getting sick and fucking tired of it. There's a lot of FCFs in the chat. I just broke my fucking pen. There you go. There you go. Live on YouTube. I just broke my fucking pen. There you go. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. That's how much I hate Raw. Raw's making me break my fucking pen. So, oh, God. Let's check the chat. So, Peanuts, Cool King, Danielle, Adam, TM, and Furious Nation, they all put down an FCF in the chat. TM and Danielle, they're like, I know. Laugh it up. I got so much. The goo that Orton was throwing up made me break the pen. Alexa Bliss and the Kane pyro made DJ Storms break his fucking pen. Rip to the pen. Let's go through AEW Dark. We're just going to skim through AEW Dark. Powerhouse Hobbs defeated Angel Fashion. Power Slam for the win. Power Slam by the Powerhouse. SCU defeated Azriel and Danny Limelight. I'm guessing that we could be looking at SCU taking on the Bucks after Death Triangle. Ryan Nemeth and the Pretty Picture defeated Dean Alexander, Brick Aldridge, and Aaron Solo. That's the Tostino's Pizza Rolls that I just had. Baron Black versus Lee Johnson. Lee Johnson defeated Baron Black with the Blue Thunder Bomb. Dark Order took on Aaron Fire, D3, John Cruz, and Vario Morales. Cabana won with the Chicago Skyline. Varsity Blondes defeated Cameron Stewart and Ryzen with a big forearm. Diamante took on Savannah Thorne. Diamante won with the Code Red. Fuego del Sol and QT Marshall, they faced off. This was probably the best match on the show. This was a very good match. QT kept the pressure on Fuego. Fuego with a Hurricane Rana off the middle rope. Fuego mounted a comeback with a moonsault off the middle rope for a 2. We had a sunset flip powerbomb for a 2. STO backbreaker flatliner by QT. Fuego was on the receiving end of a diamond cutter, but he stopped it. He stopped it with his palms, kind of like Mustafa Ali stopped the RKO. We had a swinging DDT off the top, but QT Marshall fell outside the ring. Fuego del Sol then put him back in. He got caught with 2 diamond cutters, and QT won. Very good match there. Kip Sabian defeated Charlie Bravo with the swinging neckbreaker. Abaddon defeated Catalina Perez with the Widow's Peak. Abaddon fucking sucks. And then, so Janela and Kiss. I'm not sure if you guys were watching AEW Dark, but this shit made me laugh right here. Janela and Kiss took on Proud and Powerful. Now, Proud and Powerful won with the Death Valley Driver neckbreaker combination, but Janela has this gimmick in which he goes over to commentary. And he says something in commentary about Sonny Kiss. So he says, you see that ass? That ass is hotter than the hottest pepper in the world. And I don't know what he was doing, but his voice cracked, and he goes like, it's hotter than the hottest pepper in the world. I don't know what his motive was. I'm not sure if he planned that. I'm not sure if he just said that off the top of his head. But that just made me that made me laugh uncontrollably. I'm not even fucking lying. Janela's fucking funny. Janela is very, very, very fucking funny. So Proud and Powerful won with the Death Valley Driver neckbreaker combination, and that was pretty much that. That was AEW Dark for you. TM says pen nickname Zack Ryder. I don't know why I would nickname my pen Zack Ryder, but okay. Proud Mixed Child, what's going on? Glad that you could drop by. We got 21 likes. If you guys haven't already done so, please make sure you hit the like button. We're trying to get to 30. Now, we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite, which was a very, very good show. They rebound quite nicely from the disappointing ending that we got to Revolution. So, we kicked off the show with Rey Fenix versus Matt Jackson. And this was a fucking excellent match. And I really do like the pacing of this match. They paced this match very, very nicely. They really focused on telling a story in the match. There really isn't much story to Rey Fenix and Pac versus the Young Bucks, except that, hey, they won the Casino Tag Team Royale. So I actually like the fact that they're trying to develop some story. They're trying to develop a story in the ring. They developed some tension with Rey Fenix taking out Nick Jackson and then Matt Jackson super kicking Pac. I like that. I like what they were doing there. So Phoenix was in control. We had a big springboard arm drag to the floor. Beautiful tope con hero by Phoenix. Jackson then countered the Frankensteiner into a powerbomb. Very nice counter there. So Jackson continued to keep the momentum on. We had a sharpshooter locked in, but Phoenix was able to get to the ropes. Phoenix came back with a missile drop kick, a rolling cutter to follow. Phoenix with the backpack facebuster drop for a 2. Matt Jackson with a slingshot destroyer. Another Canadian destroyer on the floor. Phoenix was able to just beat the 10 count. Matt Jackson with a diving elbow, but Phoenix kicked out. Phoenix then accidentally drop kicked Nick. Matt super kick Pac. Then we had Phoenix and Matt trading strikes back and forth. We had a super kick by Matt. Rebound kick on the springboard off the ropes by Phoenix missed. Matt with a super kick. Phoenix then kipped up into an enziguri. Phoenix then hit the Fire Thunder Driver for the win. This was an excellent match right here. I don't like that Matt Jackson took the pin because champions shouldn't be losing, but this was still an excellent match right here. Rey Fenix and Matt Jackson, an awesome match to kick off Dynamite. Cody Rhodes then faced off against the Jobber. I didn't get his name. Cody tapped him out in seconds with the figure 4. Tony Schiavone then came down to the ring and he asked about Cody's shoulder. All of a sudden, Penta El Cero Miedo interrupted and a commentator followed him and he translated what Penta was saying. So Penta said, "Cody, shut up." So the commentator translated for Penta. He says, Penta says he's 1,000 times better than you. Penta also says, if you're the Prince of Pro Wrestling, then he's the Lord of Lucha Libre. At Revolution, you lost, and had it been just you and me in that ring, you would have lost more than the match. You know why? And Penta said, he would have hurt your arm so bad that you wouldn't be able to pick up your newborn baby girl. Now that was a very nice shot at Cody Rhodes right there. Cody then ran out to the railing and he got into it with Penta. He really got into it with Penta. And we had a big brawl. And we had the wrestlers separating them. And we actually got a match booked for next week. So that's going to be very, very interesting. That is something that I'm very much looking forward to right there. So Sting was interviewed by Schiavone. Sting says Darby is a dangerous man. And when you combine that with a menacing man like the Stinger, you get a win. I get a win, Darby gets a win, we all get a win. Out of nowhere, Lance Archer then came out. And he says, if you're not going to give us time, then we're going to take your time. I never needed a ladder match to prove that I'm the face of the Revolution, and if things don't change, I'm going to take much, much more than time. So I initially thought that we were headed down the road of Sting versus Cody in a mega match. So it looks like we could be headed down the road of Sting versus Lance Archer. Now, that's something I wouldn't mind. That's something I would not mind at all. So, we got Archer and Sting supposedly set for Double or Nothing. That's a pretty damn good way to get Archer over. That's a pretty damn good way to give Archer a big win. I got no problem with that whatsoever. We got Ethan Page. He took on Lee Johnson, and there were some audio issues. Someone was playing the NBA All-Star game in the background. I'm not sure what was going on over there, but there were some audio issues. They were able to fix it after the match was over, thankfully. Ethan Page, ended up winning with the Ego's Edge, and he attacked Johnson afterwards. Dustin Rhodes came out to save him, and QT Marshall ended up leaving. So it looks like QT and Dustin, they could be done as the Natural Nightmares. Interesting. So Kenny Omega, Don Callis, and the Good Brothers, they interrupted Tony Schiavone. He was going to introduce Christian Cage. Callis, obviously, acting like what was supposed to happen at Revolution was planned, even though we all know that it wasn't supposed to happen. It was a botch. Now, I'm over it. I'm not going to hold it against them, but I'm still kind of annoyed that they just can't admit that they fucked up. Just admit it. So, Kingston came out, no music. And Kingston actually didn't say anything. Didn't say anything. Callis said, "You always seem to ruin your own moment. Because I hired you in Impact, and what happened? You never achieved your full potential because you always seem to ruin your own moment." So, Callis and Kenny then mocked Eddie Kingston. They mocked the countdown. They had a countdown come up on the clock, and they mocked Eddie Kingston. Kenny Omega said, "69 me, Don, 69 me, protect me, protect me." So that was actually pretty funny. Kenny was then getting in Eddie Kingston's face, and Eddie Kingston ended up punching him. And we got a big brawl. Moxley came out, and then all of a sudden Christian Cage came out. He had a face-to-face with Omega, and he offered him his hand. Christian went for the kill switch, but the Good Brothers were able to save Kenny Omega. Christian then held up and looked at the AEW World Championship to end the segment. Now, listen. I am not going to shit on the segment because the segment was very good. Omega was very entertaining. Kingston and Moxley, now that they're back together, they're facing the Good Brothers next week at St. Patrick's Day Slam. And Kingston looks to be back in a top-tier storyline because after his storyline with Moxley, he was really just floating around doing nothing. Now he's back in a top-tier storyline. But I can't support. I really can't support Christian going after Omega this early. Now, I don't mind seeing Christian versus Omega. I don't mind seeing that. I don't mind Christian challenging for the World Championship, but he just fucking got there. This is the same shit that we shit on WWE for doing with Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. I don't mind seeing Christian face Omega. I don't mind seeing Christian fight for the World Championship, but in no way, shape, or form should we be getting this at Double or Nothing. What the fuck has he done? If you want to build towards Christian versus Omega at All Out, you give him 6 months. That I have no problem with because it gives him time to build up Christian through legit wins. You can build him up on a 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 match winning streak. He'll be 16-0, and then you could do Christian versus Omega at All Out in September. 6 months is plenty of time. 6 months is plenty of time. But in no way, shape, or form should we be getting that at Double or Nothing. The natural progression is Omega versus Kingston. The natural progression is Omega versus Kingston because Omega tried to end, quote-unquote, end Jon Moxley's career and tried to take out Moxley. Kingston, he stood up for Moxley. Now, Kingston is going to fight for Moxley and fight Omega for the World Championship. Yet Kenny Omega, in an interim program on Impact with Rich Swann, Omega's going to become the Impact World Heavyweight Champion. That's a nice interim program for an interim title defense. And then he should face Kingston at Double or Nothing. Then you could build into All Out with Christian Cage versus Omega, and Christian Cage should lose. And then you could have Adam Hangman Page take the title off Omega at Full Gear. I don't mind that. Or you could do Omega and Page at All Out, have Page win, and then do Omega versus Christian at Full Gear in a non-title match. That I wouldn't mind. I don't mind Christian challenging for the world title, but build him up. You don't just put him on television and then boom, he gets a world title shot. No. You don't fucking do that whatsoever. That is some WWE main roster-esque shit. Do not be doing that. Do not. If you want to do Christian versus Omega, fine. You want to do Christian challenging for the world title, fine. But you need to build it up over an extended period of time. If this was just a tease for what is to come, fine. If this was just a little tease for what is to come, fine. I'll wait and see how it plays out. I won't shit on anything just yet. But in no way, shape, or form should we be getting Christian and Omega Double or Nothing. If you want a match for Christian Cage at Double or Nothing, put him in there with Cody and have Christian beat Cody. And have Christian continue to get some wins going into the summer. And then you could possibly do a match with Christian and Omega for the world title at All Out. In no way, shape, or form should we be seeing this at Double or Nothing. No way. Do not do it. We had Thunder Rosa, Hikaru Shida, and Ryo Mizunami. They took on Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, and Maki Ito. So Ito sang her song on the ramp during a brawl. There was a big brawl that started before the match. Ito continued to sing her song on the ramp. I didn't like it. Not a big fan of Maki Ito. Rosa, this was when the match actually started. Thunder Rosa with a spinning crossbody to the floor. Ito with a swinging DDT for a 2 on Rosa. Rosa then hit the Thunder Driver for the win. Rosa got the win for her team. Britt Baker was not pinned. Britt Baker then beat down Rosa with a crutch. And Britt Baker with a lockjaw. And she ended up standing tall. I didn't mind this. Britt Baker was not pinned. Thunder Rosa gets a rebound win because obviously you can't have Thunder Rosa losing all the time to Britt Baker. But she didn't technically beat Britt Baker. Matt Hardy signed the Butcher and the Blade to the Hardy Empire. We got an 8-man tag match booked for AEW Dark Elevation. And Tony Schiavone, let me tell you something. Tony Schiavone and the Big Show, I think they're going to do great on Elevation. And I love Tony Khan, but holy shit. He's making the same fucking mistake that he has made with AEW Dark. Why are you overloading these shows to make them longer than fucking Dynamite? Why are you fucking overloading these shows? I don't fucking get it. There's no reason to overload these shows with 15 fucking matches. Dark and Elevation should be no more than 5 matches. You can do that, and then you can put the main people on Dynamite. No reason why we need to see all of these individuals on all of these shows every week. Space them out. We then had Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky. This was for the TNT Championship. And this was a very, very, very good match right here. This may have been Scorpio Sky's best match in AEW to date. Very, very, very good TNT Championship match between Scorpio Sky and Darby Allin. So, Darby looked like he tweaked his ankle. Sky took over, and Sky kept the pressure on Darby Allin and his ankle. We had a big code red for a 2 after a over-the-top stunner. Darby Allin was then caught with a nasty punt kick by Scorpio Sky. German suplex barrage. We had a German suplex into the buckle. Allin was down. Allin tried to fight back. Allin went for a suicide dive, but Scorpio Sky caught him with a cutter in midair on the floor. This was fucking beautiful. A beautiful fucking counter. We then had a Fisherman Brainbuster, but Allin still stayed alive. Allin went for the coffin drop, but Scorpio Sky hit a power bomb in midair. Allin still kicked out. Darby Allin then countered the TKO with a small cradle, and Darby Allin retains the TNT Championship. Right outcome here. No way, shape, or form should Darby Allin still be losing. Scorpio Sky ended up turning heel, and he locked in a heel hook on the injured ankle as the referees tried to separate him. So, it looks like they're going full throttle with the Scorpio Sky heel turn. That is something I don't mind whatsoever. I do not mind that at all. I think that that is an excellent route to go. But I don't think that Scorpio Sky is going to win the TNT title. I don't see Scorpio Sky winning the TNT title. I still think that Pac is the correct man to win the TNT Championship. But I'm going to wait and see how it plays out. If things do work out well, and Scorpio Sky does have a big awakening and a big rise to superstardom with this new heel gimmick, kind of like what Apollo Crews is doing, because there's no doubt in my mind that Apollo Crews is going to win the Intercontinental title at Fastlane. So if we see the same thing with Scorpio Sky, then you know what? I'm going to be all for Scorpio Sky winning the TNT title. Let's see how it plays out. So Cody, he's taking on Penta El Cero Miedo next week. We got Kingston and Moxley versus the Good Brothers next week. We got Butcher and the Blade and Private Party versus Jurassic Express and Bear Country next week. Jade Cargill is in action. And we got Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa in a lights-out unsanctioned match next week. That's going to be great, and that's main eventing the show. So we got a lot of shit to go down on AEW Dynamite next week. I can't wait for it. It's going to be damn good. And in the main event, or the main segment, we had the Inner Circle War Council. The Inner Circle War Council. So, Jericho said, when any great army needs to change their plans in the heat of battle, they have a war council. It's time for a new outlook. Maybe it's even time to introduce a new member. MJF goes, hold up, Chris. I think maybe it's time to let someone go. Sammy Guevara then came out. Jericho said, oh, look who's here. Sammy goes, I know you're not happy with me, but I need you to see this. Sammy then directed Jericho's attention to the Titantron, and Sammy actually placed a camera inside the Inner Circle's locker room, and he recorded a video of MJF organizing with Santana, Ortiz, and Hager to kick Jericho out. MJF said, I didn't want you to find out like this, but get him. And so it looked like Santana, Ortiz, and Hager were going to attack Chris Jericho, but they all turned on MJF. And the five of them were face-to-face with MJF. And MJF is like, hold up. Jericho goes, shut up, you stupid son of a bitch. You think we don't talk to each other every day? You know, I'm the one that brought you into the Inner Circle, and it's about time that I'm the one that brings you out of the Inner Circle. So he shoves down MJF. He goes, on behalf of the Inner Circle, your ass is fired. MJF was then cowering in the corner like a child. He goes, wait, Jericho, hear me out. I never wanted to take over the Inner Circle, I swear. And then he stopped cowering, and he goes, because I was too busy building my own. So the lights go out. And the lights come back on. And behind the inner circle is Wardlow, Shawn Spears, and FTR. And there was a big brawl, and MJF sat on the top turnbuckle as all of this chaos was going around, and he looked like he was just the organizer of all of this chaos. It looked great. MJF then hit Jericho with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. He had Wardlow powerbomb Jericho off the stage, through a table, and they all stood over Jericho's body to end the show. This was fucking awesome. This was absolutely fucking awesome. Now, one thing I really appreciate about AEW is the fact that they know how to keep things unpredictable. They know how to keep things unpredictable. I think we all knew that something was going down, whether MJF was going to get kicked out regardless. It was either MJF that was going to get kicked out, or it was Jericho that was going to get kicked out. One or the other. It was either Jericho or MJF that was going to get kicked out. Jericho or MJF was going to get kicked out, and we kind of had a feeling that MJF was going to go into a feud with either Jericho or Sammy, or it was going to be MJF taking over the Inner Circle. But I don't think anyone called that we were going to get a new faction. So we get this new faction, and this is going to enhance not only MJF, but it's going to enhance Wardlow, it's going to enhance FTR, and it's going to enhance Shawn Spears. And we got this new version of the Four Horsemen. And you know what? I can honestly tell you that we could be looking at a blood and guts match. I think that we could be looking at the Inner Circle versus MJF's faction in a blood and guts match at Double or Nothing. And I think that's going to be an excellent, excellent, excellent program. So for now, I can see the Inner Circle taking some time off, and the Inner Circle is going to be away. And then maybe like a month later, maybe a month and a half later, then we're going to get the Inner Circle returning. We're going to get a big brawl. And then, boom, we're going to get the Blood and Guts match. And I think this is going to be great. So, very good episode of AEW Dynamite. Can't wait to see what happens in the coming months. Let's check the chat. I hope Proud Mixed Child has a good day. Thank you for the support, Mr. Cool King. Thank you for the support. I greatly appreciate it. Jericho is fantastic, Dee. What are you talking about? He's Le Champion. So after that, we got NXT. Man, I don't know what the fuck's going on with NXT. I really don't. I don't know what the fuck is going on with NXT. I don't. And I have a feeling that this has Vince McMahon written all over it. I thought that we were looking at a rebound year for NXT, and I really thought that we could have been looking at a changing of the guard for NXT. I really did. The first 2 months of NXT of 2021 was great. The first 2 months for NXT in 2021 was excellent. I don't know what the fuck happened, but it's like as soon as TakeOver Vengeance Day ended, everything just dipped. Everything was just on a downward spiral. I don't know what the fuck this was. I'm not sure what was happening. Outside of the NXT Women's title match and the NXT Championship title match, this pretty much was a skippable episode of NXT. So William Regal kicked off the show. He said, WrestleMania is always a very special time. WrestleMania is always a very special time here in WWE. With that in mind, I have 2 game-changing announcements. The first, he pointed to the screen, and they played a video package for the first ever 2-night takeover called Stand and Deliver on April 7th and April 8th, which is fucking terrible. I'm not saying the show's going to be terrible, but I don't understand why we need a 2-night takeover. TakeOver was fine just as it is. Why are you changing something that is not broken? I don't understand why. What, are you going to have 5 matches on each night? So you're going to have 10 matches on TakeOver? You're going to have some matches on TakeOver that shouldn't even be taking place on NXT TakeOver. I don't get it. I honest to God don't get it. That's what you're going to be doing? Terrible announcement. Terrible, terrible idea. It's going to be a good show. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a great show. I'm not going to be reviewing it because I'm actually going to be on vacation. I'm taking a week's vacation down the shore from April 3rd to April 9th, so I will not be reviewing. I'll be tweeting live for NXT TakeOver, but I'm not going to be reviewing it. So Regal then invited the women of NXT out to the stage. He invited Kai and Gonzalez to the ring, and he awarded them the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, which were fucking terrible. So, Kai and Gonzalez are the first ever NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, so they relished in their victory, which I really don't understand why this was even made. This was legitimately made because Vince McMahon wouldn't allow Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax to lose to an NXT team. And here's the thing. If I was Triple H, here's what I don't understand. If I was Triple H, I don't understand why I would have even made the stipulation for this Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Oh, whoever wins gets a women's tag team title match, if he knew that Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez weren't going to lose. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's because that Vince McMahon would know that if the tag team titles were put on NXT, he would be admitting failure and they would be more prestigious than any fucking title on the main roster. Ridiculous. No need for NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. They should have had the women's tag team titles that they currently have on Raw and SmackDown now go to NXT. Because those titles mean absolutely fucking nothing. So they relish in their victory. Gonzalez says we're gonna carry these championships for a long time. Shotzi, Blackheart, and Ember Moon then walked down to the ring. Shotzi said, "Let us be the first to congratulate you." Ember said, "You're gonna need challengers. Why don't you defend those titles against us tonight?" So Regal made the match official, and we get the title match. We kicked off the show in terms of an in-ring perspective with Toni Storm versus Io Shirai. This was for the NXT Women's Championship. So Storm and Shirai, they put on a very, very good match. This was one of the only things that was actually worth watching on NXT, to be quite honest. So Storm sent Shirai into the steel steps. She took over. Shirai tried to mount the comeback with a flapjack 619 and a missile dropkick for a 2. Io Shirai with a roll-through double stomp. We had a attempt by Shirai to go up to the middle rope. Storm with a superplex from the middle rope and a big sliding lariat. Storm then hit a German suplex for a 2. Both women were out on the apron, and Shirai with a back body drop on the apron to Toni Storm. We then had a big moonsault to the floor. Storm with a sit-out powerbomb in the ring, but Shirai kicked out. Shirai then fought back. She missed the moonsault. Storm hit Storm 0, and I legitimately thought that Toni Storm was going to win the title there, but Io Shirai kicked out. Storm then missed the diving headbutt. Shirai then locked in the crossface. Toni Storm couldn't get to the ropes, and Toni Storm tapped out. Toni Storm tapped out in a very good match, very surprised by the outcome, but apparently now I know where she's going because Storm apparently wants Raquel Gonzalez next. Really. She wants Raquel Gonzalez next after Raquel Gonzalez has not done anything to deserve a women's title opportunity after she just lost the women's tag team titles with Dakota Kai. Really. Really. Bronson Reed attacked LA Knight in the back. So next week, LA Knight will make his in-ring debut. We had Jake Atlas versus Pete Dunne. Atlas had some decent offense in this match. We had a German suplex, PK, and a standing moonsault for it too. We had a big lariat by Atlas, connecting on Dunn. Dunn then chopped out the arm as Atlas went for the Rainbow DDT. Dunn then snapped the fingers and bent the arm back, and Dunn won via a submission. Pete Dunne then took the mic, and he says, "This is the time of year that everybody wants to step up their game. Well, you step up to me, and that's exactly what happens. I'm the best technical wrestler in the entire world, and I dare somebody to try and prove me wrong." Now, I don't really know who's going to step up to Dunn, but if we're looking at best technical wrestler in the world, I think we could be looking at Pete Dunne versus Kushida at NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver, which I definitely would not mind that. I mean, Pete Dunne versus Kushida, that is a TakeOver-worthy match any day of the week. Imperium was in the back. Marcel Bartel offered Timothy Thatcher to join Imperium. Eichner then said, "Bring your friend along. We'll make it work." So, apparently they're building some type of program with Thatcher, Ciampa, and Imperium. I'm not sure where that's going to go. Should be interesting. We had Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. This was for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Listen, I'm not shitting on the match. The match was good. The match was good. It was a quality women's wrestling match, but holy shit. This was some main roster-esque booking. And those titles already seem worthless. Those titles already seem like hot potato championships. And Kai and Gonzalez look like one-hit wonders. So, let me get this straight. Kai and Gonzalez now lose the titles. Ember Moon and Raquel Gonzalez were taken out, and Shotzi Blackheart rolled up Dakota Kai for the win. And Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon are the new women's tag team titles, or the new women's tag team champions. Io Shirai, later on in the show, found Kai and Gonzalez in the back. Kai was just standing there as Io Shirai went up to Raquel Gonzalez and said, "I want you next." Raquel said, "Be careful what you wish for." So let me get this straight. You have Raquel Gonzalez pin Io Shirai all the way back at War Games, and then you have her beat Rhea Ripley in a last woman standing match, and you don't give her the next shot at the NXT Women's Championship. You don't give her the shot at the NXT Women's Championship, but instead, you do the Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic at the same fucking time as the men's to have Raquel and Kai win. I mean, if Raquel and Kai were not going to be the ones to win, then you shouldn't have even done it at that time to begin with. You should have just done Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez not doing that, and then we could have gotten Raquel Gonzalez and Io Shirai in a title program going into TakeOver Vengeance Day. Then if you realize that Vince McMahon was not going to give the tag team titles to Kai and Gonzalez, and Vince McMahon was not going to allow you to have Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai win, I don't understand why you even decided to give them a tag team title match to begin with. And then you made these titles only to have them lose the titles in the same night just to set up Raquel Gonzalez versus Io Shirai at TakeOver Stand and Deliver because you literally had nobody else for Io Shirai to face. I mean, my God, I am just getting a fucking headache thinking about this. Seriously, I legitimately have a fucking headache. I have a legit fucking headache just thinking about this. I'm speechless. I'm legit flabbergasted. I really am. What a fucking mess. What a fucking mess. This would have never happened. This would have never happened on the NXT of old. But it's because Vince McMahon has all this influence over fucking... As Vince McMahon has all this fucking influence over NXT. A complete fucking mess. The women's division completely... It's a great division. The best division in the fucking world, but Oh my God. This booking is main roster trash. It really is. It is absolutely fucking overly convoluted garbage. I can't fucking wrap my head around it. I'm legitimately getting a headache just thinking about it. Caden Carter versus Xia Li. So Carter went right after Xia Li. Carter with a roll-through super kick. You had a running boot for a 2. Casey came to ringside with crutches. Xia Li stomped on Caden's leg. Casey then hit Lee with the crutch. She was beating her with the crutch. She tried to hit Boa too, but Boa stopped her. And Boa actually broke the crutch. Then Tian Sha gave the hand signal to Chinese Terminator, a.k.a. Boa, to attack Casey. But then Caden Carter hit Boa with the crutch in the back, the other crutch that wasn't broken. And Casey and Caden got out of Dodge. And that was pretty much that. Jordan Devlin was on a video call, and he says that, "I hate this Irish weather. I could really use a change of scenery. My travel ban got lifted today, and that means you, Escobar, your time playing make-believe is up. I'm coming to NXT next week, and we'll find out who the real NXT Cruiserweight Champion is." So it looks like we could be looking at Jordan Devlin versus Santos Escobar for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. That's going to be at TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Should be a damn good show. Should be a damn good match. So, we had Legado del Fantasma versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. This went 1 minute, and Wild rolled up Drake in 1 minute because MSK came out dressed as Breezango. Main roster garbage. MSK then attacked the Grizzled Young Veterans. Breezango then attacked Legado del Fantasma. And MSK and Breezango dance around together. This is not what I call tag team wrestling. This is what I call main roster garbage. So next week we got Loomis versus Theory. We got Swerve versus Ruff. LA Knight debuts. And we also got Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher versus Imperium. So, should be a decent lineup next week. Hopefully, we do not see any main roster garbage next week. Finn Balor versus Adam Cole. This is for the NXT Championship. This was another very good match. Another very good match here. Another very good performance for Finn Balor. Balor was in control. Big double stomp and big double stomp by Balor. We had an enziguri by Cole. Balor countered though with the Eye of the Hurricane. That got a 2 count. Balor then got dropped into the steel steps, or he was going to get dropped into the steel steps, but he caught Cole with a suplex on the floor. We had a knee drop brainbuster by Adam Cole, but Balor was able to kick out. Balor with a sling blade, a Woo drop kick. He missed the coup de grace. Cole with a super kick for a 2. Cole hit the last shot right on the money, but Balor kicked out. Cole hit the Panama Sunrise, but Balor kicked out of that too. Cole was then sent to the floor, and he saw Kyle O'Reilly in the crowd. He was shocked. Balor took advantage. He did a Tope Con Hero. He had a 1916 on the outside, and then hit the coup de grace in the ring to retain the championship. Very good match. Afterwards, Kyle O'Reilly then came out to the ring. Cole was shocked, and Cole tried to low blow. Kyle O'Reilly, just like he low blowed Strong, but Kyle O'Reilly stopped the low blow, and Kyle O'Reilly took the Undisputed Era armband off of Adam Cole's arm. We had this big brawl, spilled into the back. Balor was in the ring holding the title. He looked over his shoulder and he said, "What took you so long?" And Karrion Kross was standing behind him. He said tick-tock, and they stared at each other to end the show. So it looks like we are going the predictable route, and it looks like Karrion Kross is going to be facing Finn Balor at TakeOver Stand and Deliver, and we could be looking at none other than Karrion Kross and Demon Finn Balor going at it. I absolutely see Demon Finn Balor making a return. It would make sense, and I can absolutely see them putting on a great match. I don't know who's going to win. Originally, I would have picked Cross, but there are reports that they're fast-tracking Cross to the main roster, so I can definitely see Karrion Kross losing, and Finn Balor retains, and then he's going to drop the title to O'Reilly after TakeOver, and we could possibly be looking at Karrion Kross going up to the main roster. And I think that Karrion Kross is going to be challenging for the WWE Championship by SummerSlam. So, that was NXT. Really a two-match show. I am not going to give NXT the benefit of the doubt anymore. I am not going to give any benefit of the doubt to anything WWE related because I just can't. Because I gave NXT the benefit of the doubt. Triple H was doing some great stuff with NXT, and what happened? After TakeOver Vengeance Day, NXT went right back to doing the shit that they were doing before the build to TakeOver. Now they're right back in the same boat that they were in 2020. I can't give them the benefit of the doubt. I can't. That was NXT. Outside of the two singles championship matches, a very skippable episode of NXT. Let's check the chat. Danielle, I'm wondering where Jess is too. And Cool King, I'm wondering where Earl is too. How you doing, Big Boy Johnny? Please hit the like button if you haven't already done so. I'm very, very pleased that we've been able to keep the concurrent viewers at double digits. Very, very happy. And yes, Cool King, NXT was very, very disappointing. My phone's actually blowing up. Take a look at this. What's going on over here? People still, still liking and retweeting my tweet, sending out the link. Doing some good shit. We are doing some good shit right here. What's going on over here? I'm sorry, I'm getting caught up. Look at this shit. What's going on over here? I see my man Wesley Landon Woosley retweeting my tweet. I see Gamers Goon retweeting my tweet. Thank you very much. I don't blame you, Danielle, because it's just not good anymore. It's really just not good anymore. So at the end of the day, what can you do? It sucks. So let us talk about NXT UK. I was actually shocked. NXT UK was kind of disappointing too. NXT was kind of stuck in a limbo stage as well. We had Tyler Bate versus Dave Mastiff to kick off the show. This was a Heritage Cup match. British round style rules. We had a very standard first round. Bate rolled up Mastiff in the second round to get the first fall. Bate then tried to pick up Mastiff, but Mastiff with a crucifix bomb in the third round to score the second fall. We had a powerbomb by Mastiff for a 2, rolling senton by Mastiff. Mastiff then sent into the barricade. Bate then beat the count into the ring. The round ended. Mastiff then got caught with a capo kick, the airplane spin, and then the spiral tap for the win. Not a very good match. I really don't like these British round style rules. It really does halt the momentum of the match. And it really doesn't make the match feel important, if you know what I mean. So I don't really know what the point is of these British rounds rules. Realistically speaking, the only guy to really excel, if I'm going to be quite honest with you, there's only really been one guy to excel in the British rounds rules, and that's A-Kid. A-Kid is the only one, and he's the Heritage Cup champion. He's the only one that's really been able to excel, to be quite honest with you. So, then we had Danny Jones taking on T.O. Man. T.O. Man was aggressive. He was swift. Delivered a very nice missile drop kick. 3 stomps to the back. He won with the crossface. Hey, look, he was aggressive. He was swift. He's not a bad wrestler, but you really think I'm going to invest in someone like T.O. Man? I don't see anything in T.O. Man, to be quite honest with you. So we had Eddie Dennis. Eddie Dennis lectured Wild Boar for separating himself from the pack. And we had Tyson T-Bone and Primate throwing Wild Boar out of sight, kind of ejecting, quote-unquote, Wild Boar. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but you know, these ominous vignettes are pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. We got Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan versus Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. This was absolutely the best thing on the show. This was a very good tag team match. Went about 10 minutes. And it looks like Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan are going to be next in line for an NXT UK tag team title opportunity, which I definitely don't mind. Amir Jordan was isolated before he made the tag to Williams. Webster was then isolated before Andrews came in off the tag. We had a double Pele kick. We had a moonsault to Jordan and a stomp 182 to Kenny Williams. We had the tag to Webster, the assisted sliced bread, and the inverted senton by Webster. Williams was able to kick out. We had a tag to Amir Jordan. We had a super kick by Jordan. Andrews with the stun dog millionaire. We had a senton to the back, but Williams was able to save it. Williams then tagged in. We had a diving back elbow. Jordan was then temporarily knocked down. We had a headbutt by Webster and a rebound lariat by Kenny Williams. Both men are down. Very, very, very nice stuff here. Williams then with the low blow while the referee's view was obstructed. Williams did it right in front of Jordan, and Jordan's like, what did we talk about? What did we talk about? We ended up getting the headlock driver by Kenny Williams, and Kenny Williams ended up getting the win, and that was pretty much that. So it looks like we could be headed down a breakup between Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan, and we could be looking at Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan possibly breaking up after they lose to Pretty Deadly, because Pretty Deadly, they are going to successfully keep the NXT UK Tag Team titles. They're not going to be losing those titles anytime soon. We got Ilya Dragunov. He's speaking next week. Ben Carter is now going by the name of Nathan Fraser. Walter is making a statement next week. And in the main event, we had Ginny and Joseph Connors taking on Jack Stars and Piper Niven. Connors, he wore down Stars before Stars. Stars was able to make the tag to Piper Niven. Ginny came in. Niven threw around Ginny. Ginny then chopped out the leg of Niven. We had a tag to Connors. He got slapped. Stars then with an exploder suplex. We had double cannonballs. Piper then hit the Piper driver on Joseph Connors, and then she slammed Jack Stars onto Connors, and they got the win. Decent little match. Really nothing special, nothing groundbreaking. But if I'm to be honest, this was actually a pretty disappointing episode of NXT UK. And I really just skimmed through it. I really don't have that much interest in it, if you know what I mean. That's pretty much that. The Dab Party is strong. I'll tell you that. Dab Party is definitely strong. I know TM and Danielle, they love the dab. They love the Dab Mania. I'm still wondering where Jess is. We got one more show to review. If you guys can get me like 7 more likes and we can get to 30, I would greatly appreciate that. I mean, come on. You realize what I do for you people. Come on. 7 more likes. It's all we need. Please, share out the stream. If Danielle can share out the stream and tell your Twitter followers to come in and like the stream, I want to get to 30 likes. Please. Please. SmackDown sucked. As far as SmackDown goes, it absolutely fucking sucked. Outside of Roman, Edge, and Bryan, outside of the Roman, Edge, and Bryan scenarios, outside of that entire scenario, no shit, Roman Reigns is the best thing on the show. No shit. So, Edge kicked off the show. He says, there's some things I need to address. I'll start with you, Roman. You said a man like me shouldn't face a man like you. I find it amusing. You said acknowledge me. So I made my choice. I chose you, but then you backtracked. You make a U-turn down Daniel Bryan Boulevard. Last week, Bryan said he deserves to be in the main event of WrestleMania more than I do. You know, while you were wrestling once a week, I was wrestling 7 times a week, sometimes doing double duty on Sundays against the likes of John Cena, The Undertaker, Terry Funk, and Mr. Perfect. And now I'm back, not because I have to be, but because I love this. I just have to wait to see who wins at Fastlane. So Bryan then came out. And he said, I think you got sucked in and you got offended. You allowed me to, but allow me to set the record straight, excuse me. So, you got sucked in and you got offended, so allow me to set the record straight. I got an infinite amount of respect for what you've done in your career. But let me be completely honest. Challenging Roman wasn't about you. I went into what I call, if I go into what could be my last WrestleMania on the back burner, I'm going to give it everything I have. I'm going to give it everything I got to be in the main event. I have to face Roman and win the Universal title. Meanwhile, you already have your match set. So Edge said, I have mutual respect. I just don't like how you did this. You're better than this, but you're not better than me. And very, very interesting scenario right there. Very, very, very interesting scenario right there. I like that. So, this was a very good segment. And originally, I really didn't know how they were going to go about this. I really didn't know how they were going to get... I didn't know how they were going to get Daniel Bryan into the match with Edge and Roman without having either Bryan win or Edge get involved and cause a DQ. But then what we got what we got in the end. So, should be interesting. It should be interesting. I will give it that. I'm going to wait and see how this plays out. So then we got an 8-man tag. Street Profits and the Mysterios versus Otis, Gable, Rude, and Ziggler. I mean, who cares? How many times do we have to see this shit? It's the same shit that we've been seeing. Standard 8-man tag. The babyfaces get jumped by the heels. The babyfaces ended up getting the win. And the champions lose in a non-title match. Why? Because it wouldn't be WWE main roster programming if the champions didn't lose in a non-title situation. So the Street Profits get the win with Ford pinning Rude. It looks like we're headed down the road towards getting Rude and Ziggler versus the Street Profits at Fastlane. Rude and Ziggler have not defended the titles once since they won them. And to be quite honest with you, I don't want to see them lose the titles yet. I actually want to see them have a reign. But more likely than not, we're going to see the Street Profits win the titles back. Why? Because there's no other tag teams in the division that WWE wants to push, unless you're going to push the Mysterios versus Rude and Ziggler at WrestleMania, or you're going to do some type of fucking multi-man match. Nia and Shayna took Reginald on a shopping spree. Yes, this was on the show. Nia Jax was on the show. Nia Jax was on the show for about 25 minutes. Nia Jax was on the show for about 25 minutes. Nia Jax. Really. So we gotta sit through Nia Jax and her fucking hole. We gotta sit through Nia Jax and, my hole. We gotta sit through my hole for 25 minutes on SmackDown. So you can find 25 minutes for fucking Nia Jax and Reginald, but you can't even find 2 minutes for Aleister Black, Andrade, Keith Lee. You can't find a fitting storyline for Chad Gable. You can't find more than 3 minutes for Murphy other than being squashed by Cesaro. You can't find more than 30 seconds for fucking Shinsuke Nakamura? Really? My hole! That's what the people want to see, right? So Nia was being very flirty, acting very flirty towards Reginald. And Reginald goes, "What could I ever do to repay you?" His fake-ass accent. Murphy versus Cesaro again. Rollins came down to ringside to watch the match again. Cesaro with a deadlift superplex, uppercut barrage. He was doing the swing. Cesaro then got jumped by Rollins. He caused the DQ. And we had all these fucking camera cuts. I don't know what the fuck Kevin Dunn was doing, but camera cut. We had at least 15 to 20 camera cuts in the span of 10 seconds. Rollins then hit 2 stomps on Cesaro. He took a chair, he wrapped it around Cesaro's head before officials came out to stop Rollins from seriously injuring Cesaro. So, after that, Rollins then walked to the back. He walked to the back and he was greeted by Shinsuke Nakamura. He was greeted by Shinsuke Nakamura. So, this is an interesting scenario, I will say. This is an interesting scenario, I will say, because I actually believe that with this, we could possibly see Nakamura and Rollins at Fastlane, because Nakamura is Cesaro's partner and friend. So we see Rollins versus Nakamura at Fastlane, and then we see Rollins and Cesaro at WrestleMania. So it really does look like Daniel Bryan is going to be involved in the Universal title picture at WrestleMania, which I got no issue with. So, we're not getting Rollins and Cesaro at Fastlane, and I got no issue with that. So if we get Rollins and Nakamura, we get that match at Fastlane. I got no issue with that. Rollins gets the win, and then we can do Rollins and Cesaro at WrestleMania, and hopefully that is a step to building up Cesaro towards potentially beating Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. The only thing that I'm going to be a little apprehensive about is if they're going to push Cesaro immediately after WrestleMania. And that shouldn't happen. That should wait till SummerSlam. I don't want to see Cesaro in the Universal title picture at a fucking Money in the Bank or at a Backlash. Cesaro versus Roman at SummerSlam is the correct route to go, and Cesaro beating Roman for the Universal title would be the perfect outcome. Giving Cesaro that major win and making him a fucking World Championship superstar. If there's anyone that deserves it, it's Cesaro. So we could be headed down the route towards Rollins and Nakamura at Fastlane, which I don't mind. I don't mind whatsoever. Kevin Owens show. So, how pathetic? How fucking pathetic is this? How fucking pathetic is this? That we have Kevin Owens on the roster, and you can't find anything for Kevin Owens to do. You can't find anything for Kevin Owens to do other than going back to the fucking Kevin Owens show. You can't find anything for Kevin Owens to do other than going back to the fucking Kevin Owens show after he had not 1, not 2, but 3 Match of the Year candidates. This guy poured out his soul for 3 fucking match of the year candidates with Roman Reigns, and now he goes right back to doing the fucking Kevin Owens show. Now, he was approached by Sami Zayn. So could we be looking at Sami and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania? That I wouldn't mind. So, he introduced Sasha and Bianca. Owens mentioned their tag team title match at Fastlane. He mentioned the underlying tension. Sasha mentioned the road that she paved for Bianca before Nia and Baszler interrupted. They brought out Reginald. And we get Sasha and Bianca versus Natalya and Tamina. Reginald ran interference twice. Tamina then rolled up Bianca for the win. So we got Bianca Belair, the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble winner, losing to fucking Tamina. Really. Losing to fucking Tamina. This build towards Bianca and I swear to God, they are absolutely fucking ruining it. They're absolutely fucking ruining this program. They're ruining the storyline. They're ruining everything about this. And all we have to rely on is the fucking match. And you know what? I am very, 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 very apprehensive that WWE is going to fuck up the match too. I'm this close to believing that we're going to get a Styles Nakamura scenario. I don't know why, I just feel for it. Are we getting Natalya and Tamina versus fucking Nia and Shayna at WrestleMania? God, I fucking hope not. Big E returned. He came wrapped up in bandages and in crutches, so he took them off. Fooled us all. Big E said, Apollo, you stepped on my lawn. Now I'll bulldoze your house. I'm ready to give you what you deserve, but we don't have to wait. So Apollo didn't come out, so he decided to do an open challenge. Corbin then came out. Sammy came out. Big E said, whoever gets in the ring first, you get the match. So Sammy dove in the ring. We get the match. Didn't even go 10 minutes. Sammy loses, as he usually does, because that's pretty much what WWE sees Sami Zayn as, a loser. Big E wins with the big ending. When was the last time Sammy actually won a match? Outside of the Elimination Chamber. I think the Elimination Chamber build, when Sammy and Corbin won that match against the Mysterios, that was the first time in like probably 3 months that Sami Zayn has ever gotten a win. Ever since then, he hasn't gotten a win. He's been losing straight for like the last God knows how many months. Apollo Crews then attacked Big E. He delivered 2 Olympic slams, and he hit Big E with the steel steps, so we get this match at Fastlane. Sasha and Nia for the SmackDown Women's title is booked for next week. Why? I don't fucking know. Asking me like I fucking know. So Bryan and Roman, they signed the contract. Bryan mocked Roman, saying that he's the self-proclaimed head of the table, and I'm going to tap you out just like I did Jey Uso. Jey Uso jumped in and said that he should be the enforcer. Edge then came out, and we got a match next week. Edge versus Jey. Winner becomes the special enforcer. So we get a big brawl. Bryan ended up kneeing Edge to end the segment. And that was pretty much that. That was SmackDown for you. We wrapped up fairly early. People. I don't even know why the fuck Nia Jax is even getting a title match. I thought we were going to get Edge versus Jey Uso at Fastlane, but apparently we're not. Now, Edge being the enforcer, that does open up the door. That does open up the door for various interesting scenarios. That opens up the door for various interesting scenarios, and that opens up the door for a potential screw-over, and we could get some type of shenanigans that happen at Fastlane that does result in Edge and Bryan and Roman fighting in a triple threat match at WrestleMania. How they get to that route, I don't know. But with Edge as the enforcer, that does open up a wide variety of opportunities for WWE other than having Bryan lose, or Bryan win rather, or Edge fuck over Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, thus causing a disqualification in the triple threat. So we'll see what happens. We wrapped up fairly early today. That wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash update. Thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. We did good. We did good in the number of likes. Hopefully we can get one more like as I am talking to you about the things to come in the future. Next week is a big week. Big week next week. Big week next week. Next week, on March 18th, we got Hibiki High Spots. I'm appearing on Hibiki TMD's channel again. We are reviewing WrestleMania 3. That's right, we are reviewing WrestleMania 3. So please, 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 please set your calendar dates. It's going to be on his channel. So go subscribe to Hibiki TMD. I am doing Hibiki High Spots. We're reviewing WrestleMania 3. We're going to talk about Steamboat and Savage. We're going to talk about Hogan and Andre. We're going to talk about everything that went down at WrestleMania 3. On March 19th is going to be the rundown for WWE Fastlane. That's going to take place at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And my guest is, of course, Mr. Jay Aletto. Please set your calendar dates there. Me and Jay Aletto are going to be dissecting everything going down at Fastlane. Of course, we got the Lightning Flash update. That is going to be on March 20th, next Saturday. Fastlane is March 21st. And then March 22nd, I will have the rewind for WWE Fastlane. Keep your eyes peeled for everything. And big announcement, TM161, he left, but me and TM, we are going to be collaborating. Once again, yes, for the first time in 8 months, TM161 is coming back to my channel because on my birthday, April 2nd, that's right, on my birthday, April 2nd, we are going to have the rundown for NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Of course, my guest, TM161. April 2nd, on my birthday, come celebrate my birthday. I'm going to be 22. The realest motherfucker is celebrating 22 years of perseverance. And you are going to want to be a part of that celebration come April 2nd when we talk about NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. There will be no Lightning Flash update on April 3rd. I will be down the shore. There's going to be no rewind for NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver, and there's going to be no Lightning Flash update on April 10th. Because on April 10th, for the very first time ever, I'm going to have the first ever live rundown. That's right. The rundown for WrestleMania 37 is going to be live. The rundown for WrestleMania 37 is going to be live on April 10th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Me and my guest, I have not decided who my guest is going to be yet, but we are going to dissect everything WrestleMania related. You are going to want to be a part of it. Set your calendar dates. A busy month ahead of us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash update. Thank you all for joining, and I will catch you guys next week, starting with Hibiki High Spots on March 18th on the Hibiki TMD channel. You guys have an awesome weekend.